All right. So this is the wrap up of the heart journey. If you did not get the guidebook, I can't recommend it enough. I honestly can't. I believe that the body and the heart is the greatest untapped resource when you begin to reawaken and realign and plug stuff in. Booyah. Like, there's so much superpower, there's so much more available to you, and there's so much more freedom. Just trust me. So this is the wrap up of it. So I'm just gonna go over what it was and how it went and close this puppy up so we can start the next one. So it was incredible, I believe, and I believe we're all challenged a bit by when we notice that we've left, through obsessive thinking or through just like controlling or trying to, just survive as we do, because we are survival creatures with a very nervous system, right? That scurry around and try to get things and remember what we did wrong. What the main takeaway for people was that it's freaking hard to come back when we've noticed that we've left. Well, first to notice that we've left, but it was especially difficult to come back because on the way back, you get to touch on that vulnerability or that fear or that shame or that reason why you took off to feel more comfortable. But the second takeaway from people who had felt that was the immense freedom and spaciousness that opens up when you have the courage to be with what is, to come back and just be with what is. Because as we've found, when there is that resistance, when there's that trying to deny and trying to get away and trying to get more comfortable or trying to avoid or trying to get something, we're actually just more wrapped up in it. It becomes our identity. We become the lonely, or we become the shame, or we become like the unworthy one. We become what we're trying to like not feel and not have be part of our lives. So, and then you get trapped in that identity that's not really you. And then that's where that homesickness is. That's where that feeling of like, I'm skimming across the surface. I'm tumbling into the future. I'm always trying to get somewhere or get something, and I'm never really here. I'm never really arriving in life. So that was one of the big takeaways. For content going back, if you want to check this out, the 5th episode of the Self-Empowerment Podcast was all about the heart journey, and it dives deep, and then of course the guidebook. And yeah, we discover so quickly our patterns of thinking, right? We have a bazillion thoughts a day, and a lot of them are the same or the same type of thought. And the Buddha says, whatever you frequently think upon, that will become the inclination of your mind. Neurons that fire together, wire together. So just by, we only did this for 30 days. And, people just by seeing, okay, I've left the building. I'm going to come back. I'm only here for 5 seconds. I don't think I can be with it anymore. I'm going away. That changes stuff. That changes that neural pathway. That changes what it's interrupting a pattern that you've been consistently doing. So there's great ripple effects and great growth and just awesomeness that happens by that little 5 second, by that intention to come back, by that paying attention to this moment. This is where I want to be, right? So that was really cool to watch people have, such tremendous ripple effects into every area of their life by simply just trying and coming back for a few seconds and then trying again, and then intention has gone away. Attention, okay, coming back, because that really is, any mindfulness practice is just coming back. I say frequently that what I see and what I practice the most is being here, coming back. Those are like the two things, okay? I'm here, I'm practicing being here, okay? And I've left, I'm practicing coming back. And there's so much juiciness in those things, so much blooms and flourishes from that. So that was one of the great things. The worthiness aspect, right? Brene Brown talking about how the one thing that she found in her data, the one thing that separated people who had a great sense of love and belonging and those who struggled for it. The one thing was that the people who had a strong sense of love and belonging believed they were worthy of love and belonging. So that worthiness element is really key, because what is so pervasive, you think about the survival brain, We are programmed to look for what's wrong, remember what's wrong, keep it from going wrong again, watch out danger, look at problems, try to fix things. What's happened now that we don't have so many, tigers running around is that we'll turn that inward. What's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me. I'm not okay. And that kind of fuel ends up running our life, ends up being this undercurrent through every choice that we're making, through every reaction that we're reacting to. And so by beginning to dissolve that trance of unworthiness, you're able to begin to see the more fullness and wholeness of you. You're no longer so identified with that unworthiness. And therefore, you're able to have a greater sense of love and belonging. Because when you are trapped in that unworthiness, there is severed belonging. And that's deep, deep suffering. So that was another beautiful, beautiful takeaway. People finding the heartbeat of who they are, right? Finding their natural rhythm and flow. I mean, that lights me up like no other, because we are often in controlling mode. We all control. That's just how we're wired. That's how we've survived, is to control things. However, we get a little extreme in it, right? And we get identified as that controller, and it just does not feel good. It doesn't feel good. And so it's beautiful to watch people begin to trust themselves and to begin to tap into that higher intelligence that is here, because the heart knows, the body knows, right? This isn't woo-woo, this is science. They've shown it. We have these awesome spidey senses. So to begin to have people really tap into that's what I call like the superpower, and to begin to trust and flow with life and just have, serendipitous moments and things work out and have more ease and more grace. And all of a sudden, I think of it oftentimes, I talk about embodiment, and I think of it as alignment. Mind, body, heart, like whoop, the alignment of who I am. When I'm in alignment, you can think of it as bones, right? When you're like working out or in yoga, alignment. When I'm in alignment, I'm powerful, right? Strong. You're agile. You can move. You have balance. When the bones are good, when the structure is aligned. And so to have people start to really align themselves in that way and reawaken and realiven, and then be like, I got some wisdom. I've got some natural rhythm and some mojo. Get your mojo back. So that was great about this journey. Let's see what else. Feel free to comment on what your takeaway from the heart journey was, or if you haven't, feel free to ask a question. I made the Wholesome Tribe for you. There was really great feedback on the story that I shared about Carl Jung. In his autobiography, he talks about having a conversation with a Native American chief and just wanting to understand their view of the white man. And the chief said, their eyes have a staring expression. They're always seeking something. What are they seeking? The whites always want something. They're always uneasy and restless, and we don't know what they want. We don't understand them. We think they're mad. And Jung said, well, can you elaborate further, right? And he said, well, they say they think with their heads. And Jung's like, yeah, of course. What do you think with? We think with here. So that really resonated with people, and especially when they began to feel that. When they begin to notice the difference between the head and the heart. It's, you see freedom. You see freedom light up in someone. When all of a sudden they're not trapped in this prison anymore, and there's just there's just a breath, there's an expansiveness, there's a trust, there's a knowing, right? It's coming back to that place that we all began at. As babies, we were not struggling with self-doubt. It happens. We all have our own traumas to different degrees, and we live in a world that life is in session, right? And so it was beautiful to watch people have that remembering, as I like to say it. Oh, the video's almost over. Okay, I'll just close with the poem that I put in there, Rumi. Why do you stay in prison when the door is so wide open? Move outside the tangle of fear thinking, live in silence, flow down and down in always widening rings of being. Happy heart journey, everyone. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Mwah!